Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better stop.
What is going down, world? Welcome to the 40s. I go by the name Black Pegasus, and today I'm checking out the one and only Bob Dylan. The times, they are changing. Never heard this song. Getting more familiar. I heard the name Bob Dylan before, but hadn't really heard any of his music until I started doing reactions. You know, and what I noticed with reaction videos is everywhere I go now, I'm starting to notice the music. Right? Go to a theme park, go to a hotel, go to a restaurant, at my gym. And sometimes I actually wonder why they don't play more of some of the stuff. Because like at the gym, you'll hear Creedence Clearwater Revival. You'll hear Fleetwood Mac. You know what I mean? But there's some stuff from like Pantera. And anyways, I just start to notice more and more stuff that I'm reacting to here. I'm like, oh, this might have been playing in the background, but it was just background music to me before. But now I hear it. It is seen. It is felt. It is impactful. It's really interesting. I started, anyway, I'm about to ramble, and there's no need for that because it has nothing to do with this Bob Dylan reaction I'm about to do, first time reaction. Some of the unique things that I'm learning about Bob Dylan as I go down the rabbit hole, just he had a lot more cultural impact and influence than I initially realized, and also like in the political world, right? Like a lot of artists have impact. These artists that we're reacting to have impact and influence on the whole world at some capacity. When you're dealing with like the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, AC/DC, you know, Guns N' Roses, like, you know what I mean? But sometimes the cultural impact could be like fashion, could be the style of singing, could be a lot of things. But to have a social impact is really unique in the artist space. And Bob Dylan had that. And the more I see blurbs and read up on little things about him, he had an impact in a lot of different circles, whether it be musically or like, you know, with different races and cultures. People rocked with Bob Dylan. They really did. Anyways, I'm still learning about him, but today we're going to check this out. The times, they are changing. That's the song. I've never heard it. So if you're here for a first-time reaction, like, share, comment, subscribe, and welcome back to the channel.
They tease him a lot, black peas on the spot. Welcome back, 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 welcome back. 40.
All right, let me get this logo down and pull the video up. Don't forget to support the original content on the channel. If you want to check out my family vlog channel where we go on adventures, side quests, holla. And I have a commentary channel, Pegasus versus the World. However, all the music and the music reactions happen right here on this channel. If you want access to the reactions early, there's a link in the description to our membership that gives you full access to the reactions early. There's a big catalog that hasn't been released to the public, and I update it every single day. So you can have some fun in there. Don't feel left out. Eventually, everything in there will get released to the public. And I just want to thank you guys. Some people get kind of stressed out or anxious or even mad. They're like, oh, it's behind the paywall. But if I'm being honest, the way YouTube works with their copyright claim system, it's really hard for reaction channels to do music reactions and actually, you know, do it like a job, because they're, you know, so the membership allows me to do this like a job. So when I say thank you, it's actually sincerity every time at the beginning of these videos, because it allows me to do YouTube more so as a job than just a hobby. This is why I'm so consistent with my releases, if that makes sense. So some of y'all understand that, some of you don't. It's unfortunate for the people that don't, but again, thank you guys for your support. Now let's rock. I'm checking this out from Bob Dylan's channel. Go back there and check it out yourself and stream the music. When we do this, just remember, reaction videos are never a substitute for the original, you know, and I always want to lead people back to the source. So let's check it out. Check this out. It's Bob Dylan, The Times, They Are A-Changin'.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changin'. Some writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. Was the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changin'. Senators.
Hold on. I love the harmonica. It just adds this soulfulness to it. This almost feels like a country song or folk, folk lane, but a little country-esque without the twang to it. It feels like almost a protest song. He said the loser will become the winner, and I'm paraphrasing, but the loser will become the winner in the end. At some capacity, that's what he's saying. It reminds me of something my mother always told me before she passed, rest her soul. The last shall be first in heaven. Yeah. This seems like the underdog, the people without, will rise above the nonsense is kind of the vibrations I'm getting here. Actually, let me pull the lyrics. He was also really poetic and abstract in a lot of the stuff he did. This seems a little more straightforward than some of the stuff I reacted to. Bob Dylan, The Times They Are A-Changin' lyrics. Whatever. Let's just see if it figures it out. Okay. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, and you better start swimming, or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are changing. That's really interesting because it almost like paints that picture of trying to stay above water. That concept of trying to stay above water. It's almost being symbolized in those lyrics, but then he's just like, yo, start swimming. It's about to change. You can do this. There's something to that. There's something the way he wrote this. The moment I started hearing it, I was like, yo, this is actually gangster. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are changing. I like that internal rhyme scheme, how he did that as well. All right, we're getting into the next one. I don't want to read the lyrics before I actually hear them. But yeah, this just, knowing a little bit more about Bob Dylan now, I'm guessing this is probably about social change and things he was seeing. And let's vibe with it and rock. Let's see where this goes.
Senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. The battle outside raging will soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changin'. Mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you I can't lend you a hand, for the times they are a-changin'. The line it is.
Bruh. All right, man. I'm getting goosebumps, and it's not like, you know how sometimes you get hype. I get hyped up on the channel. It's like stimulate, like, oh my gosh. But I'm like getting goosebumps of because what this represents. Like even in the authenticity of the record, I'm hearing like this like little like him switching to the harmonica to this. Like I just heard something in the background. I'm like, bro, this is so real and authentic and raw. And I just know, like I just know that Bob Dylan actually felt like the authenticity oozes from his art. Right? Like this was just him. Whether you believe, I don't know what his political stance were. Some people be like, oh, he did this or did that. Oh my gosh, he did this. He was amazing. People are always going to have a side, right? But I'm just talking about the art. This dude is incredible. And the way he wrote this, it's always like this abstract poetic way he presents it. How I grasped those last two verses, which is wild too, because like I think we're 4 verses in and it looks like we're going into a 5th verse. And you know, I'm coming from the rap world where it's very typical to just have a song where it's hook, verse, hook, or just insert 3 verses and then the hook where you would need to. So there's a real formulaic, almost like manufactured thing to a lot of rap and hip hop in that sense. And even other music, like the industry went really corporate and corporations wanted to package this and repurpose it and sell it to people. But when you hear people like Bob Dylan like kind of break out of these structures, it's a breath of fresh air. Now let's get into the poetic part. You know, I'm just gonna say how I interpret it. It's almost like the 3rd verse is telling the congressmen and the senators, don't bullshit, bro. Don't try to sit on the fence with this one. Pick your side, because the people who chill in the middle are gonna get hurt. Even though he didn't say that and he wasn't aggressive, that's what he implied, in my opinion. Don't stand in the hall if you stall, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't bullshit, bro. Don't try to play don't be political for this one. Don't be politically correct. Don't stand in the middle on this one, because we're right. And people who aren't, who are going to stand in the middle are going to get hurt. That's what he implied, you know, and maybe he wasn't as aggressive. Maybe he didn't mean violence, but essentially he was just like, look, it's on some Star Wars, like the rebellion is going to win, period. Like, it's just what it's going to be. Good will prevail. You know, that's what he's implying. Then in the second one, it's almost felt like he was talking to the older generation that might have been half stepping or not really understanding what needed to happen in his eyes for progress. And he was just kind of saying the same thing. Like, yo, get with the program. Like, you're kind of just, you're lollygagging and times are changing and you're just sitting there. So, you know, I was reading, I don't know if I was reading something or watching something, but it was talking about the education system. I think this is important. The education system was designed specifically to help create, you know, workers for the most part. You know, I don't know, oh man, I think this was like in the 30s or something, but it was like, I didn't even realize there were all these labor union wars, you know, where that got like bloody, man. Like, you know, and I don't try to get too political on this channel, but it's like when stuff like this comes up, I wanted to highlight this real quick. There was a blurb where they read that this person was reading in like this documentary or something I was seeing, where it was talking about what the education system was designed for and what they want to churn out. Long story short, it basically was kind of like basically saying workers, but it said the one thing we do not want to create or turn out, it was specifically artists, musicians, and painters. And the only reason I remember it was because I was like super profound. I was like, no way, this isn't real. And maybe I need to do a little more of a deep dive. But it was really direct in saying we do not want to create artists, musicians, or painters. That's not our goal with, you know, the education system, to create free people with these wild imaginations who see the world different. They didn't say this in there, but that's what they're saying by saying they don't, because that's what I was. Anyways, I just connected to it because I never saw the world like my peers. Like I was never into, I just didn't want to go to school. I wanted to create. I wanted to draw. Like I used to sketch a lot when I was young. I used to write poetry. I used to make kung fu movies in my backyard. Like I just could never. And when I read that, it connected with me. And now it's connecting with this because this is what they did not want. This is what they're talking about. Bob Dylan is the poster boy for what the machine did not want. Regardless of what, because the machine can churn out for each side, right? So regardless, but I'm saying the machine in general, this creative, imaginative, seeing the world different, seeing these things other than, some of the direction we have taken. That's what Bob Dylan was. He was the poster boy for what they did not want to churn out. And guess what? They could not stop him. That's why, anyways. Sheesh, I'm like all getting kind of jittery, man, off this song. That's crazy. I don't know why. Golly. Okay.
The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changin'.
Bruh, every part of this song got the hair on my freaking arm standing up. He just flipped exactly what I said before in the beginning of this. Remember I said my mom, rest her soul, would always say the last shall be first in heaven? He just said that. He just said it the opposite way. I don't even know what to say about Bob Dylan. Oh, there's some joints that we got to get into. People have been requesting Bob Dylan, and I recognize this because I saved this thumbnail. And even though it just says Bob Dylan here mix, that thumbnail, it's the one I saw was for a song called Hurricane. I believe that song's about a boxer. The reason I would know that is because when I was young, I saw part of a movie, Hurricane. I think it has Denzel Washington, maybe. I don't know. But that's one I want to check out and really like with my adult ears and sensory and kind of vibrate. Because I don't know. Anyways, man, I'm stumbling with my words because this one hit me different. Let me calm down for a second. What's very interesting about this song is like the type of music I listen to behind the scenes. I don't really listen to music that much, if I'm being honest. I listen to a lot of podcast stuff. But when I do listen to music, I've never heard myself like really just bumping Bob Dylan, like this car or this song, The Times They Are A-Changin', just bumping this song. I never would imagine it. And there's a part of me that's like, but now I'm like, I want to just kind of turn this up and just listen to the word. Like, for me, the words were the most impactful. The message was impactful. And also me connecting it to just finally just embracing, because I get a lot of flack on the channel, people always downplay because I'm a rapper, I don't play instruments, stuff like that. And they'll downplay what you're wired to be. And you can't listen to the noise, because that same noise is what was downplaying Bob Dylan. And I'm not comparing myself to Bob Dylan. What I'm comparing myself is I'm a human being who's always been wired to his imagination and sense of creation first. And so was Bob Dylan. He is a legend, icon. But the thing is, when we're raising our children, we almost disconnect them from this ability to have an imagination, to be creative. It's almost like that song, Logical Song, that Supertramp made. No, it's not almost. It is exactly that. I try to be very cognizant of that in my life as I'm raising my children, because I want them to have a grasp on reality of some sort, but I also do not want to destroy their imagination. This just spoke to me in many different ways because he stood for something uh, in a time where I mean, I guess I could say he didn't have to, but I just believe the time he was creating music it was just different. You know, the American Pie story, the day, what was it? The day the music died, because there was a shift in American culture. Bob Dylan's he is an interesting person, man. There's so much anyway. Let me know what I got, what I missed. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thanks for rocking with me. I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for being some man. 40 years down the road, back again. FUQ, boy.